is hard as hell. United, Tottenham, Arsenal. Watch my lips, and I will spell. Cause they don't just play, but they can rap as well. Liverpool FC.
My idea was to build Liverpool into a bastion of invincibility.
Welcome to another episode of the Anfield podcast. It's me again, your boy Slim, back at it as always. And today we got a special guest with us. I'd like to say hello to Nigel Rothband from the Man City Show podcast. You know what I mean? How you doing, Nigel?
Yeah, good, Slim. Nice to see you, my friend. Good to see you.
It's been a while since we've crossed swords at TalkSport Towers, hasn't it?
They haven't let us in, have they? It's not really very fair, but I've enjoyed every encounter we've had. They've been brilliant. I think it's great to talk to a proper football fan who understands his football and loves his team just like I do.
Likewise.
Yeah, it's good to see you.
Likewise. Good to see you, Nigel. And got Sam back in the building with us. What's happening, mate?
Hey, how's everyone doing?
Good.
Your heart's all right after that second half?
And of course, got engineer Sam, my right-hand man, the guy I could not do without.
That's it. Keep it coming, bro. Keep it coming.
Listen, I said it on the previous show. I'm going to say it again. This podcast would not run without you, my guy. Come on. Right, let's get into it. So just literally finished watching Liverpool Man City. In the background, I've still got Klopp talking, which I'm going to have to rewind. But final score was 1-1. Let's go to Nigel first, seeing he is our guest, and get his view of the first half. How did you see that first half, Nigel?
Well, I think if we look at the first 15 minutes, first of all, I was a bit worried because I think Liverpool came out with real intent, looked brilliant, and we looked in trouble. And then to get an early goal, an early penalty, I suppose we can get onto the detail of was it a penalty or wasn't it, and should we have had a free kick 48 seconds earlier, whatever it was, and all that stuff a bit later maybe. But, a penalty it was. You go 1-0 up, and I'm worried at that stage. I thought we came back into it. And a brilliant goal from Jesus. So, the commentary on the TV, of course, did he do it on purpose? Absolutely did it.
No.
100%. A genius, bit of Brazilian brilliance. Great goal from him. And then, of course, we get the penalty, and we can talk about handballs all day long, and it's gone a bit mad, hasn't it? But I suppose in this day and age, it is a penalty, and you could bet your mortgage probably on Kevin De Bruyne sticking in the back of the net, and he doesn't. So, and you then think, hold on, wasn't there a penalty that Mahrez missed against you guys a year or so ago? Which is this all coming back to haunt us? But listen, at the end of the day, probably we went in 1-1 at half time, was probably a fair situation at half time, I guess. But a great for the neutral. I'm sure a fantastic first half as well.
I couldn't agree more. Let's break down the first half a little bit more then, and get the Liverpool side of things. I'm going to come to you 6 times, Sam. The first 15 minutes, how did you see that?
Brilliant. We came out with real intent. The front three were really pushing. The link up with Firmino just in that hole caused City all kinds of problems. And Salah, Jota, the interlink play, I was really happy with that. So really positive start and bold lineup. Because for me, him playing those 4 up front, I thought, with City, with the technical midfielders they have, with the ability they have to kind of find spaces, I thought, that's a huge risk. But no, first half hour, I say we were totally dominant, and it's as comfortable as I've been in a game against Man City for a while. So I can't say more than that.
Nigel, the lineup that we came with, did you expect that lineup, or were you expecting something different?
No, I didn't at all. I don't think many people did they? I think, I'm sure you didn't either. I'd be interested to hear your view as well, Slim, but I guess you probably didn't. Very attacking. It was almost like a 4-2-4 almost, which we've not seen from Liverpool for a while. So very surprised about that and slightly worried. That having been said, I think I'm delighted with our centre-back pairing, who are looking really solid. Diaz and Laporte. We've really not had that sort of solidity since Company left, of course. We've never been able to replace that leadership and that brilliant centre-back. So for the last few games now, they've played together. you know, obviously you've had the penalty, but no other goal from open play. And we looked pretty solid throughout the game. And that for me is one of the big pluses so far. So, but no, real attacking intent from Klopp. And we're certainly worried for the first, 20, 25 minutes. Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for me, the first 50 minutes was excellent. And like you've said, Nigel, you were worried and I was overjoyed. I mean, I was kicking the ground at the fact Firmino had that chance in the beginning. And Engineer Sam, you have to tell me, what's Firmino got to do to find a bit of form? Because that chance, a confident Firmino buries that, doesn't he?
He needs to sit on the bench and watch the game. Seriously, I'm not gonna abuse it. I'm not gonna go into it. But it upset me a lot today, and it started from, what was that, second minute or something? When the ball was flipped over, he was in straight away, and I was thinking to myself, he's just gonna lift it over him, isn't he? He's just gonna lift it over him. But just the luck that he's having at the moment, not only does Ederson get a touch and then whacks it onto his shin, and we don't even get a corner out of it. I was like, it's just not gonna happen. And from that moment, from moment 2, I was like, it's not gonna be his day again. I think he needs to sit down. He needs a bit of time out. You know, he needs to see the game from a different perspective, gain some confidence, and come in with fire in his belly. Because at the moment, he's just a passenger. And today again, he proved it.
Yeah, not working for him. Okay, so Firmino misses that chance, and like I said, I'm kicking the ground. I'm thinking, you chance like that at the Etihad, you have to gobble those up because Man City are not going to be shell shocked for too much longer. So I was a bit annoyed, but lo and behold, we get a penalty. So come to you again, Nigel. Penalty or no penalty for you?
Well, can we go back 48 seconds? Because I think that's a foul on Sterling, isn't it, all day long, to be fair. I mean, he and the boy stayed on his feet. You've got to give him credit for that. They say that players go down too easily. I think he tried to stay on his feet, but that was a foul all day long. You know, there was a barge, hip to hip, leg to hip, whatever, and he stayed on his feet. So that having been said, I think it's interesting. What's interesting, before I come on to the penalty, Walker actually won our Player of the Month award. He's been superb the last 4 or 5 games. He's been brilliant.
Scored a great goal against Sheffield United as well.
Amazing. Of course, didn't celebrate because he's a Sheffield lad, and of course spent, I think, 15 seasons there. So he just turned and walked away, but cracking goal. And defensively, he's looked really, really solid and great going forward. All the things that Pep would want from a wing back. But you have to say he was a little bit reckless there. He kind of dived in, and yeah, I can understand why a penalty is given there. And I'm not annoyed about the penalty decision, but I am frustrated about the decision a minute or so earlier on, because I genuinely believe that was a foul.
I'm gonna agree with you 100%, Nigel, with the foul on Sterling, but I think 2 things went against him. First of all, he stayed on his feet, which then allowed the referee to play the advantage per se. And then that's what went against him. The fact he stayed on his feet, and then secondly, the advantage was played. But I think this is the problem. They were talking about Salah diving against, who was it against?
West Ham.
West Ham. But
Well, you can name 35 clubs, can't you, that Salah dives against? I would have thought so. Name them all, mate.
Listen. It didn't take him long, did it, boys? But listen, in all seriousness, you look at all footballers, your Harry Kane's, any good striker, they know they get a tap in the box, they go down. And I think until referees reward penalties for people staying on their feet, penalties and free kicks for people staying on their feet, we're going to have this diving epidemic, or whatever you want to call it, because that's the only way you seem to get the decision, if you hit the deck. And I think if you want to stop this whole diving thing, the referees have to give decisions. So go back to the Sterling thing. Fair enough, he gave the advantage. He could have pulled it back for the free kick, which was outside the box. So I wouldn't have been too, upset as a Liverpool fan. But it was definitely a foul. But again, 6 times time, that's the inconsistencies with refereeing these days and VAR and all of that. It's just crazy, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. I mean, they should just kind of stick to the old rules. Like, I just think, especially kind of with penalties, it's kind of, was it intentional? And the referee's got to kind of see if the incident was intentional before kind of making a decision. And they seem to be just refereeing on kind of, I don't know, they're not as consistent as they used to be, and I think that's been a problem.
Yeah, well, so luckily, I'm not going to say luckily, we get the penalty, which I think most football fans would say is a penalty, and Salah tucks it away, and I'm thinking, right, let's go now. Let's take them to the sword. Do you know what I mean? And well, I don't think he done it on purpose for Jesus, but a nice bit of skill, and he gets the goal. And I just feel like, did City deserve that goal at that time in the game?
I don't think they did. I think that we were, I think we were bossing the game. I think we were totally in control. They had sporadic attacks. But yeah, it was a good bit of skill. If I'm being overly critical, I thought Alexander-Arnold should have been goal side. Be given him a better chance to defend that. But yeah, it was a good goal. Can't argue with a goal. Can't argue with a finish. And yeah, that kind of really gave them a boost and seemed to kind of like, set us back.
Against the run and play, Nigel?
Sam's going with a good bit of skill there, I think, Slim. And do you want to come back to him on that? I'm surprised you haven't necessarily challenged that. You're going, he didn't mean it. I'm with Sam, my new best friend, Sam.
Don't listen to that, Sam. Listen to this, Sam. He didn't mean it. He didn't mean it. It looked great, don't get me wrong. But if you're looking at that as deliberate, then you might as well go to the Bergkamp one at Newcastle all those years ago, and whether he meant that. It's that kind of level for me. So.
Mate, Bergkamp 100% meant that. Are you saying he didn't mean it?
That's another point, to be fair. But as for Jesus, great finish. But yeah, that little nick that he got, it looked amazing. But he definitely didn't mean that. Definitely didn't mean that.
I'll give him a call, see what he says. Hold on.
You do that, man. You let us know, yeah?
You carry on. I'll give him a quick call. I'll come back to you. Yeah. I'll put myself on mute. Hold on.
Whether you think it was a great bit of skill or it was a bit of a fluke, he still had to tuck it away, and he tucked it away. And I mean, for me personally, at that point, I'm not mad because I expect City at home to score a goal minimum. Do you know what I mean? I do think it was slightly against the run of play because we were in the ascendancy, but I expect a goal from City, so I wasn't too mad. But I guess I'm trying after that. I think that sort of galvanised City a little bit because then we had the penalty incident shortly after that. Now, I'm interested to see what you think on this, Nigel. Is that a penalty or isn't it?
5 years ago, no. 4 years ago, no. 3 years ago, no. 2 years ago, no. Last season, no. But this season, it appears to be a yes, doesn't it? I think things have changed. And I think for me as a football fan, no. Because there was no intent. He didn't try to make his body bigger. It wasn't a deliberate handball like it always used to be when I was a lad, before you were all even born. So it's no. But unfortunately, and I was thinking, going back to the days of I don't know, I'm trying to think of a great Liverpool player, Tommy Smith. Some of the Tommy Smith tackles, weren't bookings, but now they're bookings all day long. So the game is changing and evolving, and unfortunately, in today's game, with the arm at that angle, albeit not deliberate, it's a penalty, and that's kind of what the law now says. It's a nonsense. It's an ass. And it should be changed. It's a bit like Sam was saying about VAR and so on and so forth. There's so much wrong with it. It shouldn't be a penalty, but I can understand why it's been given today. But it kind of shouldn't be. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Would you agree with that, Engineer Sam?
Yeah, 100%. I was just looking at the game earlier on, Leicester, I think it was, and they got one there as well. And again, they're going to have to change the rule. Again, probably I won't do it now, maybe it'll be for next season, but the way that these handballs are being given, it's like, I don't know what's right and what's wrong. We had one in this game where the ball was laced at Cancelo, I think it was, by Jota, and he put his arms up. But obviously, It's not really a handball, but what's the difference between that and what Gomez is, apart from the distance between when the ball was struck? I kind of feel like it's never going to be consistency, and it's always going to be which ref you get on the day and which VAR you get on the day, because they didn't even look at the Cancelo one, which I thought was a bit weird. So it's like we tend to be getting a bit of the rough end of the green at the moment, in that every game there's a decision that goes against us with VAR, so I'm used to it now. But ultimately, is it going to balance out, or are we just going to have to go through this knowing that every game there's going to be something that's going to be controversial from VAR? And at the moment, it's handballs.
Yeah, but do we have to go through it though? It's like it should go back to the old days where is it intentional? Did you intentionally mean to use your hand to stop a deliberate goal scoring opportunity? So, for instance, something deliberate for me would be like Suarez against Ghana in the World Cup. That's deliberate. But like
Sam,
Joe Gomez won. It hurts my heart as well. But I mean, that was the kind of best thing I could think of to illustrate the point that that's deliberate handball. There's no doubt. No one's arguing with that. But the Leicester one, what you mentioned, today's one, they're not handballs, and it's just, for me, it's ruining the game. It's like, it's not handball. You've got to understand the game. You've got to understand that when you run, you use your arms. How else can you like run? Because De Bruyne's got quality delivery. So Joe Gomez is just thinking, I've got to get myself into a position to defend this.
Stop this. Yeah, no. Whilst I agree with you, and I agree with that's not a handball, this is the problem that I think referees and
it doesn't need to be a problem. That's my thing. It doesn't. Is it intentional?
It's a problem because I'm saying in terms of like, how do you decide what's intent and what's not? So
Suarez against Ghana.
If you keep
is intentional.
I understand that's blatant. But if your hands are here, say, yeah, and it touches your hand like that, is that intentional or is that a natural body position? So I think
but Slim, you can argue it's the same with a free kick, with a foul as well. It has to be the referee. At the end of the day, it's the law states, and I'm sorry to sort of state the law at you here, but the law states in every one of those situations, if in the referee's opinion. And this is why VAR in those situations is useless, because it's all about opinion.
Yeah.
So a free kick, did he just get? It's about opinion. And that's how it used to be. And we used to argue it and sit here in chats like this and argue those sort of things. That's what football's all about, or one of the things it's all about. I didn't think it was a free kick. I did. I didn't think it was a penalty. I did. I didn't think Jesus did it on purpose. I did. Whatever. Yeah, engineer Sam's got it wrong again. Whatever it is, it's all about opinion. It's all about opinion, and that's why VAR, I think, is ruining the game.
That's
100%. 100%.
We agree on that one.
Of like you said, of the whole debate and the whole opinion thing. I think looking at it like with eyes from say 2-3 years ago, whatever. But the technology that will take this out, but now we've got it. I don't think it's fit for purpose, and I think they need to take VAR out of the game. I personally feel VAR should just be, if they're going to keep VAR, it should just be in the background. It shouldn't be such a focal point of a game.
I'm sure you didn't intend for this to be a VAR discussion. I'm sorry to take us down that route, but I think the only way it can come in is where there is factual black and white. Where it's brilliant, where technology is brilliant, is goal. Because number one, it's instant. Number two, it's literally instant to the referee's watch, and it's a goal or it's not. Yeah, and there are very few disputes about that. I think they could introduce that into in and out of play around the pitch as well. If they do it at the goal line, let's just have it for goal kicks, corners, throw-ins as well. Shouldn't be that difficult. But anything else, when you start getting into those situations of opinion, it doesn't work, because it goes from the referee's opinion to the 4 blokes sat in a camper van in a car park in Stockley Park with a Chinese takeaway on the knee. That and it becomes their opinion. And where does it start? We'll have bloody engineer Sam sitting there saying, I'll have the casting vote on this every week. It'll still go down to somebody's opinion, and it's not right.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'll shut up in a minute. I'm sorry.
No, do you know what, Nigel? You're 100% right, and you're just probably saying what we're all thinking, and we'd all be repeating the same thing. So,
am I right about Jesus' goal as well, Slim?
No, that I think you've got wrong there slightly, but that's okay. We'll put that down to age,
Okay, fine. Sorry, what?
But it is a shame that we've come here to have a chat about the game, and I think the focal point is going to be VAR and its decisions, and it's sad. I think as Liverpool fans, this is probably the 3rd or 4th podcast we've done this season, and VAR's been front stage and centre. It's just it's crazy. But hey, as a Liverpool fan, they've given the penalty, but he's missed it, De Bruyne. And like you said, Nigel, you bet your house on De Bruyne putting that in the bottom corner, but thankfully for us, it doesn't go in. And I think from there, that gives us a little bit more of an impetus to go on and maybe win the game. But What happened to us?
Do you think, Slim, that changed the second half as well? The fact it was 1-1, the fact that probably before the game both sides probably would have been happy with a point, and if it was 2-1 at that point, you know, Klopp's going to come out and look at the formation, play slightly differently, and it just became boring and almost negative and so on. And it's such a shame that it was not the spectacle that a game of two halves, as they say. You know, it was totally different.
That's exactly it. The missed penalty, it ended the spectacle for me. Like I said, I thought from a Liverpool perspective, we would have kicked on and actually tried to win the game, given the fact we've been given a lifeline, if you like, with the penalty miss. But just what from our side of things, 6 times Sam, what happened?
What, in terms of the performance, or are we looking back at
the performance in the second half?
I think the intensity which we played with in that first half hour, that couldn't be sustained. I thought that they seemed to kind of run out of legs. We played too slow as well. The first half an hour was high tempo, press. City couldn't live with us, turn over the ball possession. But now when we kind of dropped back, I think that suited City, because City quite methodical in the way they attack, where they kind of find the angles, and it seemed to suit us. And I thought our passing was sloppy. I thought as an attacking force, we were more or less non-existent. And I thought one of the things that kind of changed it was Firmino coming off, because Firmino was kind of finding them gaps, and City's players weren't kind of picking him up. And you had like Jota, Mane going on the wings, but that he went off, and that kind of stopped. And I thought, we just lost the initiative.
Engineer Sam, from your point of view, would you agree with 6 times Sam?
We lost the impetus in the second half, and I'm still not sure why that was. Looking back on the game now, we did put a lot into that first half an hour. I don't really subscribe to the fact that really should have negated on our performance in the second half and really made us slow down to the extent that we did, because we weren't even threatening. We weren't really playing on the break. We weren't trying to pass through them. We were just going long. And I don't know. I'm gonna enjoy watching it back, because it just seemed like we deliberately stepped off the pedal, but yet we weren't playing on the break. So we're halfway house, and that we're not threatening, but we're letting them come on to us. We're letting De Bruyne get the ball more. And that was dangerous. And for me, as soon as they hit 80 minutes, I was just literally looking at my watch. I just wanted the game to be done, because I felt like they had so much of the possession in that second half. They were going to create something, and we were going to end up losing. So I'm not sure, man. I can't call it right now.
Nigel, would you attribute the drop-off in Liverpool's performance to City's performance ultimately in the second half, and what you guys did in the second half?
I think partly, yes. I don't think totally. I think Liverpool did change their shape. They did seem a bit tired as well, as Engineer Sam said. I think it's they did put a lot of effort into that first half hour. It's bound to have an effect. We're still only, 7 or 8 games into the season. But I think City had more control in that second half. They seemed to hold on to the ball a little bit better. De Bruyne came into the game a bit more. But still, I thought we didn't play with any great pace. You think of the City team of a couple of years ago when we were scoring 5-6 goals against sides, including Liverpool, of course, as well, I seem to remember.
This guy. I think we should get him back on, you know.
Who won the league? Eh?
How many? Yeah, just once, I think. Yeah, just.
We'll have you on for the Anfield game. That's for sure. Nigel.
I'll be there. I'm looking forward to it. What was I saying? Yeah, so I think it's a case of City did come into it, but I'm still concerned about the way we're still knocking it sideways, and we're not playing at great pace. One thing I was disappointed about was we didn't see Foden. And I think he does make a difference when he comes on, and I think he's got that youth and got that exuberance and that enthusiasm that he does tend to change a game. And I would have liked to see more of him. I'd like to see him start occasionally, because I think he does make a difference. But apart from that, listen, I felt we were in less trouble in the second half. Engineer Sam saying he was worried about the last 10 minutes, or was it the other Sam? Sorry, saying it was the last 10 minutes he was worried. I felt the opposite. I felt that the more the game went on, the more chance City might have. But I guess a draw at the end of the day is probably a fair result.
Where do you think that leaves a title race? Sorry.
Whoa. Slow down, Sam. Title race, 8 games in. Behave.
Well,
There's no...
I can't respond.
Yeah, I just want to know his view on what that result does.
To answer Sam's question, I think as Liverpool fans, you must be hugely disappointed. 8 games in, and if you only won 5 games, your goal difference is what? Plus 1 or 2 or something, or 3 maybe. You must be hugely disappointed with that, Slim, aren't you?
Do you know what? Yeah, to be honest with you, I actually am. That's the thing. Like, I know he's digging at me, but
Yeah.
I am. He is. That's Nigel for you. But I am, because I said it in the group yesterday. Where were we this time last season? And already we were, I think before today's game last season, we were already 7 points better off or something like that. I think we were 7 points better off. So the start to this season for us has been slower and not what I'm used to from last season. Even the season before that when we didn't win the league. So yeah, I am slightly, and I think that's allowing everyone else to stay within reach of the top or the title, as Sam put it. Do you know what I mean?
And you may have talked about this before on previous shows. And sorry if you have, and you don't want to take us down this route, Slim. But do you think the fact that there's no crowd and is that the reason that it's
leveler?
Yeah, have you talked about this before as a group?
Yeah, we kind of. It's for us as Liverpool, it's a leveler. I think any football fan knows how great the atmosphere is at Anfield, and even away from Anfield as well. Like the travelling fans is absolutely great and amazing. And I think it really is a 12th man for us. And I think it's actually leveled the playing field for anyone coming to Anfield playing Liverpool. And whilst we have still done all right at home, it's not the same. It's not the same at all. We miss the fans, man. They need to come back soon for me. Well, I don't know what you think. What do you think, Engineer Sam?
Yeah, do you know what? I called it a long time ago before we actually came back to the restart. And I think guys in the group were saying, nah, it'd be okay. Like the quality will shine through. It's a leveler. It's absolutely a leveler. Especially for teams coming to Anfield. There's no fear factor there anymore. They're playing a training game, essentially. And as much as we've got more quality than pretty much every team in the league, including them citizens, it kind of, there's no pressure on the ball. There's no pressure on the players. There's no intensity. And for me, I worry more about the home games now than I do playing away. Because playing away, I feel like we had the quality above most of the teams anyway. Today was the hardest away game we're going to play this season. Right, I'm coming away with a point, so I'm all right with that. When the bigger teams come to Anfield, that's when I'm starting to worry, because the atmosphere affects them as well. As well as it pushes us, it does have an effect negatively on the top teams coming to us. City especially, they never play well at Anfield. They may play well occasionally, but they rarely get anything from the game. Yeah. And for me, I'm like, bring the fans back. But in my heart of hearts, I don't think we're seeing fans again this season. So it's going to be nip and tuck the whole season, I think.
How about you, Nigel? Because it's going to sound like a jibe, but it's not. City are notoriously bad for their fans and their support at home. How do you feel the crowd not being there has affected you guys?
Yeah, I think it's affected everybody, no doubt. I think it's affected referees. I think it's affected players. And I just think it's not the spectacle that I'm used to. I think it has a different feel to it. And I'm perhaps not enjoying it as much as I would be. As you know, I'm a season card holder. I'm a home and away supporter, have been for so many years. And you talk to your mates and who maybe don't go, and they're enjoying it, but they've always watched it by watching it on the TV, and it's totally different. So I think it is having an impact. I think you just have to look at the league table. You have to look at the fact that there's 3 games you haven't won. Okay, yeah, we've got a game in hand. We win our game in hand. We then become 2 points behind you. So there's not. I don't think, to go back to Sam's question, I don't think we need to worry too much about the league title today. I don't think it's had any bearing on that just yet. I know he's probably only joking anyway. Maybe not looking at his face now. Maybe.
No, he was
deadly serious.
Okay, let's talk about the league table then, Sam. It's a really, really important point for you today. You should stay up, I think. It's probably my assessment after that. That point would just be enough for you to stay up. Okay.
No, I was just kind of wanting to get the City take on fine of like their start and having drawn this game, which was their opportunity to kind of make some ground and where they think
we win our game in hand. We're 2 points behind you. It's not an issue, and we've still got to come to Anfield, and it's not a problem. I'm not worried about it.
There's a lot more football to be played to be worrying about titles, and the City are not far enough behind. You know what I mean? So yeah, whilst I understand your point there, Sam, and asking that question, I just think, yeah, like Nigel said, man, it's way too early. But just to go back a little bit as to that game in the second half, Nigel was saying that you were saying that City were a bit slow, blah, blah, blah. But I actually think City were quite calculated in the way they were playing, the way they were just passing the ball around. And then all of a sudden it was like, and then they were like on top of us at the back. You know, there was someone trying to play a ball in or something like that. I actually think you did control the game a lot better in the second half, but there was a real purpose to what you were doing. So even though you might have felt, as a City fan, it was slow, I felt the build-up was very purposeful. And yeah, I was worried at times. I thought, yeah, the second goal was going to come for you guys quicker than it was going to come for us.
Yeah.
Well, I disagree with you, Slim. I felt, yes, we controlled the game, but you compare, as I say, from a couple of seasons ago, the pace that we played and the speed, it seems to go. We're playing so many balls sideways and backwards.
Yeah, I don't think you can play like that anymore, though, Nigel. I don't think you can play like, not against Liverpool. I don't think you can play that way, that gung ho way. If you play that way and you make a mistake, we'll cut you open, and vice versa. That's the respect that Klopp and Pep have for each other. That, you know, if you send your team out there, you know, all guns blazing, you will get ripped apart. So I think it was deliberate from your side, if I'm honest. But
you did it first 20 minutes, didn't you? Or you tried it, to be fair, and it was effective.
But I think that was the element of surprise with the formation. I don't think we would have planned for that formation. So whilst we had the element of surprise, it worked. But once obviously Pep got his messages across from the side and it sorted itself out, then, you know, it's gone. So yeah.
Slim, let me ask you, in that first half an hour, 25 minutes when we were in control of the game, are you disappointed at the fact that we didn't actually create that much to actually capitalise on how on top we were?
100%. In these games against your fiercest rivals, big teams, whatever you want to call them, you have to capitalise when you're up, because you know they're going to have their moment in the game. Yeah. But you can ultimately almost kill the game if you take, I'd say, minimum 2 of those chances. If you create 2 good chances and get 2 goals out of it, you can almost kill them off. Do you know what I mean? You think about it. If Firmino scores that goal and then we get the penalty, it's a whole different City. They now have to come out and attack, and the spaces that they leave, like I was just saying, we'd kill them on the counter. The game ends up being 3-1, 4-3 even, but it opens up the game a lot. You see what I mean? So yeah, I was desperately disappointed that we didn't take advantage of being in the ascendancy in the beginning, man. I was quite annoyed, if I'm honest. But
yeah.
That having been said, Slim, there weren't that many sort of gilt-edged chances that Liverpool had.
No,
this is it.
That's the problem we're saying. We should have.
Yeah. I mean, my problem wasn't necessarily the gilt-edged chances. Mine was like, for me, we were in like more or less in total control. Like we did more or less what we wanted to do, and like we had City where we wanted them. But it was just to give away a goal.
They say possession is 9/10 of the law. That, do you know what I mean? That you have all the ball, but what are you going to do with it?
We won the up though. We won the up now away from home. So the onus is on them. Enough. You're at home.
No. 1-0 up against away to City. That's naive to think. All right, we're 1-0 up. We've got the ball. What are you going to do? No, you can't. You can't do that.
It wasn't that though. It was that we had the ball. So if you've got the ball, what can the opposition do?
Okay, but Sam, 1-0 up in the first. When did the goal go in? What is it? 15? Was it something like that? You can't say, well, you're going to see out the game in that first 15 minutes.
I didn't say see out the game. I said we were in control.
Okay, but you think you're going to control the whole game against Man City?
I didn't say we were going to control the whole game. I said the goal to lose in that situation was a bit naive, and that was the disappointing thing. And they didn't look like creating any chances. And that's where my disappointment from their goal comes from.
That's key. They don't have to look like they're creating any chances. It took that. It's Man City we're dealing with. So us having the ball and them having the lead was nowhere near enough. We weren't creating anything. We had one other chance in that half, and that was Trent right towards the end. Other than that, there was nothing. So they didn't have to play well. They didn't have to be attacking us. All it took was one lapse, for Wijnaldum to come off Kevin De Bruyne. The ball's played in, a little ricochet, great piece of skill for you, Nigel. And then it's a goal. Yeah. So it didn't matter how much in control we were. We weren't creating enough to capitalize on that. So for me as well, I'm disappointed, man. Really disappointed in the first half.
Yeah, well, yeah. Wholeheartedly agree, man. Being in control at that stage of the game, that's not the thing I want to see. Yes, it's.
Well, you want City to be in control.
You know, I don't actually care who has the ball. I care about the number on the top of the left hand top of the screen. That's all I care about. If that number says 2-3, I don't have the ball. Have the ball. Do you know what I mean? But we didn't. We had the ball. It only said 1. They were always capable of a moment, and they had their moment. Ends up 1-1. You know. But hey, that's why we love football, innit? Opinions.
Slim, I need to go shortly. Any sort of final questions for me before I slip away and you know, talk about Manchester City to somebody else?
Point gained or 2 points dropped for you, Nigel?
I think it's what if you'd give me a point before the game, I probably would have taken it. I think it's that early on in the season. It's not going to have any great bearing unless Sam wants to come back again and give us a different view on that. So I'm reasonably pleased. It could have been so different. Yeah, dodgy penalty against us, and then we get a perfectly legitimate penalty and can't put it away. Could so easily have been 2-1. I just hope it doesn't come back and haunt us like it did a couple of years ago with the Mahrez miss at Anfield. So, no, I'm reasonably happy. Glad we didn't lose. I think both sides didn't want to lose this one. And we didn't. So,
you can see that.
I think that's what was important today.
Yeah. Okay, fair enough. Look, Nigel, it is always a pleasure to speak to you, my friend. And like Engineer Sam said, we're going to have you back on for the return leg if you're available.
I look forward to. I realise I probably should have been baseball capped up. So sorry, that just leaves Sam without his baseball caps. Slim, as always, suspect necklace around your neck, but maybe we'll talk about that another time. But really, really great to see you guys. As I say, I genuinely hope the Liverpool stay up. It's important to have some of the smaller teams in the Premier League. So good luck for the rest of the season, and let's hope you stay up. Nice
Thank
to
you
see
very
you.
much.
Cheers,
Good to
guys.
chat to you, Nigel. Take care, mate.
See you later, mate.
Cheers, guys.
Take care, mate.
Right, Nigel Rothband from the Man City podcast, ladies and gentlemen. He is an absolute hoot. You know what I mean? Even as an old boy, he knows how to banter with the best of them. Do you know what I mean? Guys, we have a vacancy in the window. Here he comes.
Hey.
Here he comes. Let him sort out his technical issues. Leroy,
Bajan Bruce in the building.
tilt your phone.
Well, go on.
Leroy, tilt your phone the other way, man. Do it landscape.
It is landscape, mate. It was that already. I don't know what's going on.
There you go.
There you go.
Perfect. Job done.
There you go.
What's
Bajan
happening?
Bruce in the building.
All right, lads.
Going on, man.
Talk to me, Sam, man. What's happening? Where are we at?
We just had Nigel from the Man City podcast on, and he gave his assessment of the game from a City point of view. And his parting points were that he was pretty pleased with a draw. What about yourself? How are you with the result, Lee?
Yeah, no, you know what? Yeah, I'm pleased with the draw, but I just felt they were there for we could have had it though. We could have had the result, but obviously with that second half, in the end, I'll say yeah. If you said to me at the beginning, I'll give you a point, I'd have took it. Would have beat your hand off, man. But I felt we had an opportunity there. To be fair.
I agree with you, Lou. I think we had a real opportunity to grab them by the neck and fucking. But,
yeah.
It wasn't to be. It wasn't to be. I think a point away at your nearest rivals is always a good thing. To be fair, like 6 times Sam said, when you are in control of the game, you should really do more with it, and we should actually be creating more chances. I mean, Mo Salah didn't have I'm not going to say he had a bad game, but he was fairly quiet. I don't remember too many moments Mo having in the game.
No. Do you know what? He didn't really, but I'll go on, Sam. You're going to jump in there.
Diogo Jota.
Oh, no, crack on, mate.
Diogo Jota didn't seem. I'm just recalling it in my mind. There's not a lot to stand out from him either.
Jota, we need to talk about that, bro, because you remember I spoke to you on the phone before we started recording, and my point with Jota was the fact that the way we played and putting him on the right actually negated his effect on the game. He plays in from the left and his runs are out to in. Yeah, so playing him on the right as almost an auxiliary right winger, yeah, it reduced his effect to almost nothing. I don't blame him for not being in the game. Do you know what I mean? I would never have played him on the right. Never have played him on the right, man.
So my point with that is that, like, I expected them to be interchange. I expected Salah and Jota to interchange, maybe Jota to go up front, Mane to go up front, and Jota seemed kind of, in the first half anyway, fixed on that right side.
Yeah.
Which was a bit strange. I thought the interchange of them would have caused City headache.
I just want to add. Sorry, Sim. Yeah.
No, go on.
On the Jota shout, yeah. For me, everyone's probably going to shoot me for this, but I felt Klopp had to make a decision today, and the decision should have been, if you're going to play firms, don't start Jota, because I would have preferred to have seen Jota come on, and then because I know that guy would have run that back line ragged. Come second half, it'd have been a different thing. If he had firms on first starting, and then brought my man on, but to try and do it, to try and fit everyone, I didn't feel that we were overrunning them, but I just didn't feel that it was enough. I don't think we should have forced. I think we forced the issue there with the Jota thing today. I think if we were going to play him, but don't play firms. Personally, that's my.
I think our strength. Sorry, man. I was going to say our strength in the first half hour, where we had Firmino's deep and we had the three front runners bombing on. That then became a weakness, whereby like took Firmino off, and there was only two in midfield. So it kind of works as in both ways. It was a strength first half when we were in control. Second half, when they were in control, they had the numbers in midfield. That's when it became kind of a weakness.
I'm not a fan of taking Mane off of the left side. I think Mane, whilst I agree what you said to me before we started, Engineer Sam, about Mane being well good enough to play anywhere across the front three. I think he's devastating from that left side, and I think if you're asking me to pick who to have on that left side, Mane wins hands down. So I would have liked to have, I wouldn't have displaced Mane to put Jota there at all. I think I'm with Leroy. I think Jota should have just started or been from the bench. I don't think we should have accommodated. Whilst like I said previously, I could see there was a surprise and it caught City off guard and stuff like that. I just feel like we gave up the possession in midfield in order to accommodate and have Firmino and Jota. That's where the goal comes from. The fact that we don't have that free across the midfield is like Wijnaldum sniffs the danger, goes out there, not realising that, oh shit, there's actually no one in the middle to cover where I've just left. And when you look at it, was it worth it? No, because Firmino was poor. Like, it just wasn't working for him today. So in hindsight, yeah, I wouldn't have played all four of them. But maybe Jota is, well, saying that, did Jota start against Atalanta? Did he start? He started the game, didn't he? So I can't even say he's like a super sub, because his goals have come from off the bench and from starting. So I don't know. Do you know what? I'll be honest with you. It's a really nice headache to have where to put Jota. You know, Firmino needs to hold the bench. I think we haven't. Last season, the team was pretty much settled, wasn't it? We didn't really have no fights for positions. I think it was the team was the team, and that was that. Now, with just the two additions of Thiago and Jota, I think it's shaken everything up, and I think it's good, man. It can only be a positive.
Oh yeah, definitely. Even when you think you got Thiago and Fabinho to come back in, that makes us stronger. So from that point of view, yeah, looking good.
Great. Yeah. That's the thing. Could you imagine what a player like Thiago would have done in today's game, man?
Win the
picking
game.
out the passes for Jota, picking out the passes for Salah. That's what it cost us. Those passes in the final third, it just weren't getting there, and they were getting intercepting. And like you say, a Thiago in this team, picking out those passes, it would have been on for City.
That's why the two didn't work today as well, because when Wijnaldum was getting the ball, there was no one to take the onus off of him. The onus was on him, and he weren't looking forward to try and play those passes through the lines. There was a couple of times he had the ball in the first half, and he could have just tried to pump that ball in, like through the lines for like a run that either Salah was making or whoever it might have been, and he decided not to. And I don't think when you're playing in that two that you can not take those risks. You might lose the ball, it might not make it, but I don't know about the rest of you, but I want to see my midfielders taking that gamble. All right, don't all scream at once then, boys.
Yeah, but we were expecting from Wijnaldum, though, to be fair. That's not his role. And for the first sort of 20, 25 minutes, he was comfortable in doing it because the whole team was moving forward as a collective. But he's going to revert to type, and that's what he's supposed to do. That's his role in the team. Yeah, the two was a problem for me after sort of 25, 30 minutes. As soon as they got their goal, we just didn't have that impetus. And it's almost like we thought, okay, do you know what? We need to come back and relax a little bit and allow them into the game because we weren't actually trying to go at them anymore. And for me, it's still wrangling me that we actually had proper stranglehold on the game and we didn't take advantage of that, man. Because we knew they were going to score. So why did we not create anything in that 30 minutes that could have seen us with a little bit of breathing space? One goal is nothing, man. It's nothing. It's
If you could start that game again, Bajan Bruce, would you change anything?
Oh, do you know what? It's gonna make me sound like a right arse, but I would have probably gone into that game a little bit more. See the middle, yeah, when we had Winnie and Hendo, yeah. Like I say, it was just for me. It was having Firms playing. If you're gonna have Firms playing, you just can't put that was what was for me. I would have gone with the basic middle, that midfield, even if it meant having Millie Vanilli in the middle there. Milner.
I did say Brexit midfield. I did say Brexit midfield.
Man might moan. I'm glad you said it because I thought a lot of guys would see it as being negative, but that's if I could go again, that's what I probably would have. That's what I probably would have had. In all fairness.
Yeah, no,
100%. Boys, listen. I know you wanted to jump in there 6 times, Sam, but time's running out, man. You know how it bees with this Zoom thing, bro. You know what I'm saying? Time is running out. I just quickly want to get a man of the match from everybody, and just a little brief thing on why. You know what? We're Liverpool fans, yeah, but first and foremost, we're football fans. So if you think the Man City player was man of the match, man, I mean, so be it. Who wants to go first? Come on, man. Don't be shy. Step up. Yeah, all right, cool. I'll go
6
first.
times Sam, eh?
Yeah,
breathing heavy.
You nominated me, are you? No, I'm in deep in thought. It's Henderson, Matip.
See, I'll jump in.
Yeah, those two.
No, yeah, see, I was going to say Matip. I think the fact that he's been out for so long, to come back in such a big game, I think didn't really put a foot wrong, man. He was quite aggressive in the challenge. He was in the right places at the right times. I think, you know, he done some good work, man. And it was actually, as much as we call him Mr. Glass, it was actually nice to have him in the back there, man. And it was nice to see him back. And hopefully nothing goes wrong after the game and he stays fit and he's ready for after the international break.
Yeah.
Who's next?
Matip's done well. Now you've mentioned it, Matip did do well. We did say on the preview show, you get a performance out of him in big games. So it didn't surprise me that much. For me, no one else really stood out for the 90 for us. Henderson played well in the first half. Yeah, I can't even call a genuine man in the match, to be honest. If it was based on 30 minutes, fair enough. But nah, I can't even call it, mate. I'm still pissed off, to be honest. I'm like...
Fair play.
Bajan Bruce, what about yourself?
Do you know what? I'm pretty much on the same as Sam, you know. I mean, I can give Matip an honourable mention, but really and truly, the game was kind of based on... It's like half and half, really. One half we had it, the other half they had a bit more of the lion's share. So it's hard to really call a man of the match, really. I can't really call it. If I'm honest, though, I felt for us our best attacking player was Mane. When he got the ball, I felt he was trying to do bits and bobs, innit? He was giving Walker and I thought a nightmare, but obviously as the game went on, it kind of fizzled out. But yeah, you want to mention, you can give it to Matip. You can let him have it. But yeah, I'm not really happy with giving anyone it, really, because I don't think anyone really deserved it.
Defended well, though. I think this is still sounding negative. We defended well. I thought we got to consider how... Yeah, but this is Man City. We got to think we're playing against Man City and how well they attack. We saked it up. Fair enough, we offered little in attack, but I think from that point of view, resilience perspective, I thought it was good from that angle.
I wouldn't say negative. I just think more disappointed. Yeah, I just think we're more disappointed that we didn't get more. I think a lot of people think we could have got more out of the game than just a draw. So, you know, I think that's what it is, not necessarily negative.
Do you know what?
Go on,
Slim, I just wanted to add, yeah. One thing I noticed in the game, I don't know if you lot noticed, yeah. The keeper, Alisson, yeah, was okay in the first half. Second half, maybe about 20 minutes to go, he looked like he was struggling a bit, you know. I don't know if anyone else noticed it.
Before the time runs out, how could I forget Trent going off with a...
Yeah, that's well.
Does anybody hear anything? I know we like to keep everything on our chest. He's got 2 weeks to recover. A calf.
Yeah, something up with his calf.
How long are they usually? That's muscular, isn't it?
That could be a minor still.
Hopefully that means he doesn't go for international duty. He stays back, gets treatment, and he's fine for... Who we got after the break? Who we got? Is it Leicester? We got Leicester?
Leicester at home,
One more way.
Home.
Yeah. Hopefully he's back for that. Listen, I don't want it to cut out on us and just cut us off, man. So let's just wrap it up there, boys. As everybody out there knows, we're in a lockdown, hence why we're back on Zoom and not in the studio. But hopefully the lockdown is done 2nd of December, so we'll be back in the studio. But until then, we'll be on the Zoom. But still do all that good stuff, that liking, that sharing, subscribing. You know what I'm saying? Any comments you want to put down at the bottom of the YouTube. I've been your boy Slim as always. You've had what, 6 times? Boy, sorry, I keep calling you 6 times Sam because it stuck with me so much, but I know you like to be called 19 times Sam, innit, my jigger?
That's right, man. That's right. Say it again.
Yeah, 19 times Sam.
That's right, man. Seems to be 20.
Hey, and Bajan Bruce, thank you for jumping in at the end there, man. Appreciate that, man.
No worries, all good, man.
And as always, my boy Sam, do what you do. Get the podcast out, man. It's love.
Yeah, man. Tomorrow.
All right, guys, until the next time, we out.
Bless.
Peace out, man. Take care.